episode of The Review. It's the Online Sports Guys college football podcast featuring us, the Online Sports Guys. And this is kind of in the weeds a little bit, but we're trying out a new format here on Google
Meet. Meet.
Doing the show on Zoom. So I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. Let us know if you like the look. Looks a little cleaner. Anything that you have input about the show, we'd love to hear from you about it.
This will also enable us to go live.
Mm-hmm.
You get to hear us cuss and stuff.
Nothing like a live show.
Yeah, really?
Guys, since we last convened back in March, there's been a whole bunch of stuff that's gone on in college football.
Dude, I'm tired.
In the NFL draft, which I guess we might as well go ahead and start with because it's going on as we record this.
Sure.
The first round pick, the first 3 rounds already in the books as we record this on a Saturday morning.
Mm-hmm.
Some interesting stuff. Some college guys with a lot of skill got picked early, and then some guys got picked in questionable spots.
A lot of
Next.
Okay. Yeah. Well. I mean, I give West Durham full credit for introducing us to the Mrs. Bo Nix, Izzy Smoke. So Izzy Smoke Nix is now a part of the NFL pantheon. But I thought you were going to talk about the extended Knicks and go P-Nix. I thought that's where you were going, Marty. So we'll talk about the Knicks and the P-Nix. I thought that's where we were going.
There were very little surprises early in the draft. When I say early, like the first 5 or 6 picks, then the Atlanta Falcons happened.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna use my first timeout. Hear me out on this theory. First off, if you have the contract with Kirk Cousins after 2 seasons, I believe, can be revisited anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 30 years old.
Then what you have is a very, very weak 2025 quarterback draft class.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking the leader in the clubhouse in some polls was Carson Beck.
Yeah.
And so it's Carson Beck, it's Cam Ward, it's Quinn Ewers, names that are not jumping off the page. And so Terry Fontenot, I'm guessing that played into his decision. B, if the Falcons get dinged for tampering, then you could get penalized or whatever, however you want to phrase it. And if you get dinged a number 1 pick and it just so happens to be, I don't know, in the 2025 draft with a very, very weak quarterback class, what you've done is you've covered your hindquarters, 2024 selection. And I have seen very few people, and I give fellow OSGers Nick Leafy and Jarrett Smith credit for this theory. If you get dinged and you're missing a 25 number 1, you got your number 25, you got your number 1 pick and a quarterback. It just so happens that he's going to be part of the deal for 2 seasons. And if the contract goes, then you've got Michael Penix and all these things that are leading us into that idea. And I fully endorse this theory. Just go ahead and start the black helicopters now.
Well, I tend to agree with you on that theory because I thought the same thing. I was at my daughter's girls lacrosse banquet when I was kind of watching the draft, and I saw what Atlanta did. And when I was showing around to the fellow Falcon fans, it was change my underwear moments for them. But I told them, no, that's a great pick. Yeah. And my theory at the time, my hot take at the time was, okay, you've got Kirk Cousins in there. He's 35 years old. Yeah. He's going to do good things if the tampering thing doesn't occur. But you also got an instant quarterback coach and somebody that Michael Penix can look up to if he accepts that role. And let's face it, I thought Michael Penix was the best quarterback in the draft with his skill set, how he can throw outside the numbers. He throws a nice deep ball. If you got good receivers, the guy wanted Indiana. That's all you need to know. But he's got to learn that he can't tuck and run when the pass rush come because he's got 2 bad knees.
Mhm.
And he's going to have to be that stand-up pocket passer. And who better to learn from than Kirk Cousins? And let the veteran kind of mold the new guy and let him take over in a couple of years. That is the best case scenario.
You just jinxed him to get hurt in week 2.
Yeah.
Then you've got a quarterback that is a winner on the college level that I think can translate into the pro level, and the pro scouts seem to think that as well. They love his skill set. He's just a dinged up quarterback. I see the age as a factor. Look, if quarterbacks are playing into their early 40s, I don't buy that. So
24 next week.
Yeah,
I'm just worried about him being too frail.
And that I understand.
Yeah, I get it too.
I like his skill set.
He's got to learn.
I respect him as an athlete, but I'm just worried about his durability. If he's got to, like you said, like you led with, he's got to change his game a little bit.
Yeah, he can't be that mobile guy like a Lamar Jackson, and I really don't think you want that right now with the offensive players you've got in Atlanta. When you can just go back and hand it off to Bijan Robinson, and
let's have an offensive coordinator that would do that. Thank you.
Exactly. So if it goes right, I think it's a great scenario for the Falcons that perhaps you've drafted your franchise quarterback. Let him learn from Kirk Cousins for a year or two. Basically, I think Kirk Cousins is there for a year and a half because somewhere in the middle of the 2025 season, I think that's where the switch is going to happen, especially if they got confidence in Penix and he's been injury free as well as Kirk Cousins. So, but I get what you're saying, Marty. It could happen in week 2, but they've got an insurance policy there waiting for them.
Look what Green Bay's done over the last decade. They did it with Aaron Rodgers sitting behind Brett Favre for a couple of years, and they did it with Jordan Love sitting behind Rodgers for a couple of years. It worked out pretty well for them.
The thing I don't like about what the Packers did in that situation is they didn't really go out and get offensive talent to surround their quarterbacks.
No,
Atlanta has.
From strictly a quarterback perspective.
Atlanta has, and that's why I kind of think this scenario might work.
Yeah, well, I think it will too. It's just funny listening to the reactions here. For those of you who don't know, most of us, with the exception of Marty, are based here in the metro Atlanta area, and just seeing the reactions from people here has been pretty funny.
Yeah, I initially thought it was bad, and then when I thought about it for a second, I came to the same conclusion you guys did. I'm like, all right, that's just we traded this year's first rounder for next year's first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the bigger surprise was Bo Nix going to Denver 2 picks later.
That quarterback room in Denver. Oh my God.
Clones.
Oh God, just the reps that these individuals have had in the National Football League, that they are not plentiful. And when they have not been plentiful and when they have been thrown into that particular setting, they have not been good. And so now you add a rookie quarterback. What do you want to bet? Say, and then you're
a rookie quarterback and a veteran that plays like a rookie quarterback.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but think about it this way. Bo Nix has played, 12 years in college football? He should be ready to go.
Yeah, you would think.
In several different systems, too.
Bo Nix and the MILF Hunter.
I mean, it's true. Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, Ben DiNucci, Bo Nix.
And out of those, DiNucci probably has.
Yeah, I'd roll with Ben.
Well, you have the knowledge base of Ben DiNucci more than the average bear, so you would know the value of a Ben DiNucci over.
When that's your veteran calming hand, you're in some deep. Get the waiters out.
You're in some deep horse-ish is what you're in.
Ooh.
I mean,
well, they do got a horse statue out front, so
that's what I'm saying.
Stay on brand.
Yeah, it's right there with it. I mean, then I just can't.
As a Browns fan, I just love laughing at somebody else screwing up quarterback decisions.
Yeah, omnis. It's just DiNucci, Stidham, Zach Wilson, and Bo Nix. Bo Nix will be your starting quarterback by week 12. Guarantee it.
For jersey sales alone.
If not sooner.
I just have this oh God. If you know, I wonder what the
when they decide to scrap the season in week 3.
yeah, it's like, yep, we're done. Bo, get out there.
When they enact the draft pick scenario.
Yes.
Well, you know, Denver already screwed up their uniform reveal.
Oh, that was so bad.
And Houston just needs to undo theirs.
I know.
The best
first
uniform in
Nike
that
screws up-
city is the college one that they made them take down.
Oh.
And then that's followed by the XFL team.
Well, there you go. See?
Yeah, I'm not going to criticize Houston because they're going to be a pretty good football team this
Oh,
year.
yeah. For sure.
They're just going to look awful. You know, Nike's
They look awful.
Nike's already screwed up baseball uniforms. Now they're screwing
Yeah.
up football uniforms.
Oh my God. You know, they say it's better to look good than to feel good. No.
They ain't looking good. And especially the Broncos.
No.
And they're not going to play good either.
No. That's going to be a painful season. I wonder what the season ticket retention rate is going to be year from year. That's what I'm looking at.
Maybe they're trying to get people to complain about the uniforms instead of the players.
Yeah, it's the Gilbert Gottfried sketch.
Look over here. Look over here.
In Beverly Hills Cop with Gilbert Gottfried. You know, I got something in my hand right here, and all of a sudden this other hand pops up, and then it's like you're focused on what's going on over here, and then all of a sudden I don't know what's going on over there. You know, that scene from Beverly Hills Cop. That's what I'm looking at right now. The Denver Broncos.
Reaching deep there, John. Reaching deep.
Look it up, young viewers.
Yes.
So much going on in college football here over the last month or so. Another topic I want to kind of broach with you guys.
He's broaching.
Yes. The reports. The Heisman Trophy that Reggie Bush won in 2005 is returning back to it. Reggie Bush.
Merry Christmas.
It was taken away from him back in the early 2010s due to the USC getting in trouble with the NCAA at that particular time, and the folks that run the Heisman award up in New York decided that basically he cheated and got away with it.
Yeah, and is there any truth to the rumor that he's going to be receiving the trophy back at a local Wendy's?
He's going to dip it in a Frosty.
There you go.
Oh, gosh.
Heisman and a Frosty. Well,
Jim Tressel and Terrell Pryor are online.
I would imagine so. Yes.
Goodness gracious. And then is Ohio State going to get a national championship for that year they went undefeated?
Keep going. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Well, there are schools in the SEC that claim national championships.
The Sugar Bowl that I went to, that I watched Tressel lift a trophy, is that going to come back as
keep going,
being real again?
Keep going.
Oh, is there a couple players that have records that got wiped? Oh, what else?
Keep going.
No, I might have to push that. We might have to push that into a second episode.
Well,
in college basketball, Louisville had to vacate the national championship.
Somewhere
they get that back.
Yeah.
Well, the Michigan never took down the Fab Four from the banner from the rafters. That's still up there.
And the major
which is what I would do too. Be like,
absolutely. See, I mean, what we are doing in Latin terminology is what is referred to as ad infinitum ad absurdum.
What he said.
To the point of infinity and to the point of absurdity. And so literally it's like, okay, so this has opened a door. Precedent has been set. All of these other examples that we've been discussing here could, in theory, be a part of the discussion going down the line because of what has now occurred with Reggie Bush. You have opened Pandora's box at the New York Athletic Club in downtown New York City, and everybody's going to be claiming everything now. I want mine back. I want mine back. What about this? What about this? What about this? That's what you're going to be getting now with this event that has now happened. And folks are going to be focused on, well, what's in it? I want mine back. You're going to get a lot of that for the foreseeable future now.
Well, when I saw the proposal of eliminating conferences and doing regions, and I saw the Southwest region was basically the reworking of the Southwest Conference, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, they'll get their reputation back. because now they can do it.
Yeah,
they can cheat.
yes. Oh,
Pony Express is making a comeback.
Exactly.
Wilkie, that is such an ugly word. It's not cheating. It's not cheating. NIL has reinforced that it's not cheating. It's now just the quiet part out loud.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about that anymore. You know,
If you watch the draft, Saban had interesting comments about a cornerback.
Oh my yes.
I didn't watch the draft.
Oh no.
He basically said we tried to get him in the portal, we just couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, we literally tried. That's what he literally said.
Was that 2 weeks after he talked about the integrity of the game?
Well, you know, it's a shelf life. There's a shelf life with comments these days. I mean,
integrity of the game for everybody else.
I mean, yowie.
That whole super conference thing was something that I was going to get to a little bit later in the show, but we might as well address it.
Okay.
I just don't that regional thing working for the simple fact I can't see the SEC or the Big Ten or even the Big 12 giving up what they have already.
Here's a response from both of them. Make me.
Two scenarios have to happen for it to occur. One, Congress has got to get involved, and I think they will eventually, if the SEC and the Big Ten become all-knowing, all-powerful, and because if that doesn't happen, the West Coast is basically irrelevant as far as college football.
Yeah,
and then a strong commissioner is hired who can persuade the Big Ten and the SEC. Or someone of the power of Pete Rozelle or Kennesaw Matt Landis has to come in and take Greg Sankey and insert your Big Ten commissioner by the neck and say this is how it's going to be done.
Good luck.
That's the only scenarios I see it's happening because the SEC and the Big Ten are going to continue to be the big fish in the pond, and the ACC and the Big 12 are going to just be
medium size
doing what they can do. And,
you already have the group of five discussing being their own playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, the group of five. Yeah, which we've talked about for 6 years now. Yeah. We think it would be some value for a TV network. I think some of that may have been eroded a little bit because of the way the American was rated by the Big 12. Some of their marquee schools went on, but you still got some schools that have some kind of recognition. You know, I'm thinking of James Madison and Coastal Carolina, who had some really great seasons and got on the national stage and still are relevant.
Mm-hmm. I mean, so for those that did not watch, Nick Saban was talking about former Toledo cornerback Quinyon Mitchell. 22nd overall, drafted by Philadelphia in this year's draft. So Saban on ABC, quote, he was our number one guy in the portal last year to try to get him to come out of the portal, and he would never get in the portal. Literally, that's what Nick Saban said.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have.
Is that a Wikipedia entry for tampering?
It might not even. It might not even be a Wikipedia entry. I think that you might end up going to Webster's and or Funkin' Wagnalls. There's the picture, and it's a picture of Nick Saban delivering that soundbite. That might be what you're looking at in Webster's. Picture of alleged tampering, because it never happened. And what are they going to do? What are they going to do to Nick Saban? Legitimately, what are you going to do?
No recourse. Nick Saban is my favorite. Nick Saban.
Yeah, and yes, you know full well if he's doing. Everybody's doing it.
No.
And again, it goes back to your quote from earlier. He said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah. I mean, it's literally, that's what you're looking at. Webster's picture, tampering, that soundbite.
He did have, I'm trying to remember exact quote from last year. He said, I don't like the way this is going, but if it's going to go this way, I'm going to do it better than anybody.
Oh, yeah.
You got to respect that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm tired of it, and ESPN offers me a whole crap ton of money to be on TV.
And he is
get a tank top and yell a lot.
Unfiltered IDGAF Nick Saban, who is no longer employed as a college football coach. It is a fantastic soundbite, and we've gotten our first.
Yeah, he's actually really, really good on TV.
And I give him credit for eating Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies on camera, too. Absolute credit. Full credit for that. Get an endorsement deal, man. Get your NIL from Little Debbie now. Talk about the full circle. Get your NIL from Little Debbie now that you're no longer a coach.
I don't think.
I think Aflac pays them well.
I'm sure. But at least Little Debbie can get you the snack cakes in bulk, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. You would get instead of getting an insurance policy from Aflac or the gold chains, you actually get something physical for it.
Yeah, and I accompanying Little Debbie.
Now the other side of Affleck, you got Dion.
That's true.
And that'll take us into transfer portal.
And drafting. It's like, no, my players, Shadur and Travis Hunter will only play for this team, this team, this team, this team, and this team. I hate to break it to you, but that's not how this works. It's not quite how the draft works. I'm sorry.
He knows better, but it's also
it's posturing and positioning for players and drawing interest for his guys. That's what it's all about. The only time that worked in the history of the NFL draft was John Elway and Eli Manning.
Yep.
Those are the only times that worked.
And for those of you too young to know when that is,
do your Google search and YouTube search, kids. That's what this is all about. We need an.
We're talking about 1983 here, which is a long, long time ago.
We need an annotated.
41 years.
We need.
You mean Manning played football before the Manning cast?
Yeah, Cooper did. He absolutely did. Cooper did. He knew better. He retired.
Yep. More things besides a quarter zip pulled down.
Nothing wrong with a quarter zip pull down, especially if it is functioning in a fleece lined environment. That is absolutely what you need.
Oh, we're getting away from the topic here. Why don't we go ahead and throw it to break?
Sure.
We come back in the second half of the show. We'll continue to talk about the consolidation and lack of oversight in college football, among other things.
No, that never. Never.
Yeah, that's and that is an issue. The state of Florida is getting involved in the Florida State lawsuit now against FSU. All that and more. Some guys moving around to other schools. All that and more. We return for the second half of the review. You are watching and/or listening to the review on the OSG Sports Podcasting Network.
Please like and subscribe.
Over here in the OSG Sports side of things, we talk football. FOOTBALL. College football version here with the College Football Review every single week. But for those of you that like not just football with two O's, but football with a U, FUTBOL, there's the Soccer Down Here Network. I'm John Nelson. I host the morning show on Soccer Down Here along with Jarrett Smith, Nick Alifi, Jason Longshore. And if you're looking for the best information when it comes to the world of soccer, based in the southeastern United States, but we don't leave anything off the table. 9:05 Eastern time until 11 whenever. Sometimes we go for a while. SDH Network morning show, soccer's morning show, Monday through Friday, plus all the live events we do. It is your place and your source for soccer that is based in the Southeast, but covers everything on the world. SoccerDownHere.net, the Soccer Down Here app, available iOS and Android through our friends at Spreaker. That's like speaker with an R in the middle. Spreaker, do a search for OSG Sports, do a search for Soccer Down Here. All the soccer content all in one place. It is the SDH Network and Soccer Down Here.
Thanks for sticking around, everybody. You have made it to the second half of the show. In the first half of the show, we talked a little bit about the NFL draft, some potential, for lack of a better way to put it, movement, things going round and round in the world of college football. But then again, everything goes round and round.
Right, baby, right round like a record, baby, right round, round. Yeah.
Because unless you're a flat earth person, everything is round, including the planet.
Was that Kevin Durant? That who was that? That's
Kyrie Irving.
Oh, Kyrie Irving. Thank you. Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
he is an individual.
And if he was unsure about the shape, he could probably look at the replay of the eclipse and see the shape of the moon.
Oh no. What you're doing is you're just sliding a two-dimensional object across a two-dimensional plane. That's all you're doing.
Mhm.
That's like doing something like this. This is Kyrie Irving looking at the eclipse. This is Kyrie. This is what Kyrie was looking at. See, two-dimensional object.
Are you saying he's a blank page?
Sure. Why not? Go for it.
Topic here.
The sheet was void of words.
Yes, it was. Some folks would say that about Kyrie Irving in post-game situations too.
Yes.
That's where the sheet hit the fan.
Yes, thank you. All right, so what are we talking about in this half of the show?
We talked quite a bit about transfer portal, conferences, things like that. One of the things that's kind of stuck out to me over the last week is word that college football traveler Jaden Rashada is now basically in his third school.
Yeah.
For those of you unfamiliar with who we're talking about, is the guy who played quarterback for Arizona State last year as a freshman, but started out his career trying to be recruited by the University of Florida and basically got their NIL collective in trouble because of a promise they couldn't keep.
Yeah, it meant that other athletes weren't going to go because Florida was exposed for what they couldn't do in NIL. So, but I mean, Jaden Rashada could take helpful hints from Zach Calzada about where to go and what to do. And who was the Georgia quarterback that transferred like 78 times?
JT Daniels.
Thank you. Yeah, JT Daniels. So those are your patron saints for when it comes to transfers and what to listen to.
And then as of this past week, you have unlimited transfers.
Yeah.
As long as you have grades, basically is what they said. As long as you are currently attending school and are in good standing, which means that as long as you can be on a team, you can transfer.
0
So what is his transfer total going to be by the end of his career?
That's where you get playing time.
Yeah. Plus or minus 4.5.
5 or 6, because he's leaving Arizona State to go to a Georgia program that has Carson Beck coming back for a second year, and Beck's probably, if not the best, one of the top 3 quarterbacks returning for the 2024 season.
Well, and then he obviously thinks that he can compete with Gunnar Stockton and
Ryan Puglisi.
Yeah, Ryan Puglisi from the Flying Beavers.
So is he hoping for injury to the starter, or is he hoping that, okay, if I'm here for a year, I can transfer somewhere better than I could have directly transferred when I left Arizona?
Or does
all the above?
Yeah,
I don't know, because Georgia's got I want to say they've got like one of the, if not one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the class of 2025 and 2026 all coming to them too.
Woo.
Yeah.
So it's a layover, you're saying?
I think that it's a staring contest with Puglisi and Stockton, and he's trying to figure out, okay, if I perform well, I go up the depth chart, and am I number 2 behind Carson Beck? And then if he's not, then it's like, oh, hey, shiny object, where can I go now?
He'll be the starting quarterback for your Georgia Southern
University of Incarnate Word.
Now, there's still time to transfer for this fall.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
Monday, right? Monday's the last day.
Monday's the last day.
And
to enter, you could stay in there and leave whenever, as long as your name is entered by the end of business Monday, I believe. I'm
kind of torn between laughing and being offended by Marty referring to him coming to Georgia Southern. I'm not, because you could. That's where the guy. I think we'd take him if he'd come.
Oh, you would. You better.
Yeah. I mean, that would give him a better draft prospect than a middling program. You go somewhere where you can dominate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. In an offense,
get some
all the time.
That takes you out of the 6th round and puts you into the 3rd.
Mm-hmm. Show me my money.
Yeah, but what this essentially says is if there wasn't any question, if there was any question about it previously, that we are now fully in the free agency era of football.
Woo.
See, I want to know how far we are from trades.
Interesting.
Probably not
Trade?
too far.
Interesting concept.
Because
Yeah.
I'm looking at as an Ohio State fan, I'm looking at how many quarterbacks we have in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had that nice little Georgia surprise transfer. How many running backs they have?
Yeah.
I mean, Down Hayden just left, and he made 2 or 3 guys quit Colorado. But they have no line depth. Let's we'll send your RB3 for a guard or a
Mhm.
tackle.
I can't wait till we start mentioning trade deadlines in college football.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
So how would a trade go down? Would you trade within the conference? Would you trade out? Well, the division setup is gone now, but how would this work? And would you also add we'll also add in a chemistry credit to be named later or something like that? Would you do something like that?
I will trade you Peebles Jones and Brian Hartline's top undergrad assistant for a quality right guard.
Yeah, or a redshirt freshman who is on the injured list, didn't get to play.
He has to have a 3.0.
Or you could also add in possibly a 2027 scholarship. So you could add to your scholarship numbers that are on your roster in any given year. If you trade,
I will trade you a backup safety and a Gus Johnson nickname
for a 2027 scholarship position.
And I would say the NCAA would get really mad and crack down on that, but the NCAA really doesn't have a say-so in this matter.
They could get really mad. I'm sure some college presidents.
I'm still really trying to figure out the
Yeah.
Michigan's hamburger situation got them no-show clauses for a couple people, and then a similar COVID type situation was it Arizona State or?
Yeah, it's Arizona State. And Herm Edwards got a 5-year show cause just because of shenanigans.
I can't wait till the real penalty for Michigan comes down. There's a separate investigation for Harbaugh because the man of integrity refused to cooperate in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, so of course he's now coaching my Chargers, for which I'm thrilled.
But he has a 15-0 tattoo on his shoulder.
Yeah, with Missouri's M. The M was the thinnest thing I've ever seen. Puss. It's a block. It's not like a stick figure. Come on, man.
It's like Phoebe. It's Phoebe's tattoo from Friends. What is that?
From an Ohio State guy.
I do have respect for him living like Jim Rockford, though.
He's sullying the reputation.
Also, watch Cozy at one of those streaming networks, Jennings. You'll see it on there.
He is sullying the reputation of Jim Rockford. That is so offensive to me.
Changing the topic.
Yeah, but I tell you what, I would like to see him get beat up every episode like Rockford did.
Yeah. When is Angel coming to the trailer with some kind of scheme for him?
Yeah. Well, so then let me get this. So every single week on CBS or whatever network is going to be broadcasting an LA Chargers game. If they don't start it with an answering machine message for Jim Harbaugh, the networks that broadcast the National Football League are doing a disservice to the work.
I want to see him driving up to the stadium in that car.
For those of you younger than
Google search, look them up on YouTube and Peacock.
Answer machine is basically now what's called voicemail.
Yeah.
With cassettes.
You've got to have the old school answer.
The hipsters, our hipster viewers and listeners know what a cassette is.
This is Jim Harbaugh. I'm the head coach of the LA Chargers.
They buy him at Coachella.
And I'll get back to you. Beep.
Yes, I'm going to change.
And this is Charlie Baker with the NCAA.
No, I'm not, because Tom's going to talk over me here.
Is Harbaugh going to charge $200 a day plus expenses?
Yes, he is. He absolutely.
Everybody quiet for Phil.
Some other things going on in college football, guys.
There's nothing else going on in college football.
Nothing. There's no games. Spring games.
The state of Florida has now joined in with Florida State University in their pursuit of the lawsuit against the ACC to get Florida State out of the ACC.
Stop.
And the Attorney General for the state of Florida is upset because they had requested a copy of the contract through an open records request.
You can't get it.
He said, no.
It
You
is
gotta-
housed in the cone of silence.
And you've got to go to the temple of Syrinx in the ACC offices. You have to go into their skiff, and you have to watch this in that room. You will not get a copy to leave the hermetically sealed skiff that is at the ACC offices.
Either that or Tom Cruise dropping from the roof like he did in the original Mission Impossible movie.
No.
It's in the sub basement of Fort Knox, isn't it?
It's that is not happening. Tom Cruise and who was it in the George Clooney movie? Was it Catherine Zeta-Jones? No, you can do all you want. Ethan, you can do whatever you want in whatever MI group you think you are. You ain't getting into that skiff. That look, the ghost of Fred Goldsmith is guarding that skiff. You will not get in, and you will not take documents with you. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen.
The only time that's going to come out is when the lawsuit moves forward and they have to provide it in court to show that they're violating it.
Yes.
What they'll do is they'll put a webcam in the room, and it'll be on a like with a spotlight and on an easel inside the room. You'll get a webcam to show that it exists. It ain't leaving that skiff. I'm sorry.
Actually, what you're going to see is what you see most of the time when you get redacted documents is black splotches all over it.
Redacted ACC documents.
What a shock. But you remember Clemson joined in too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. I just see.
All because they don't get paid enough by the ACC, and the ACC is allegedly trying to screw them over.
No.
What?
Both of those are true.
Surely you jest, and don't call me Shirley.
Ooh.
Well, I'm just waiting for the dominoes to start falling in that league because something's going to give soon.
Who's going to the Big Ten? Who's going to the SEC?
Exactly. And the betting line is that if your alma mater, John, will probably end up in the Big Ten because the SEC has no reason to take them.
Nope, none whatsoever.
No,
and the Big Ten gets a school in Florida to help the Big Ten network get some TV markets.
From what I understand, if the SEC were to take any ACC teams in some sort of contraction or realignment of that merging, they're interested in University of North Carolina more than they are anybody else.
The SEC covets North Carolina, not simply because of what they'll bring in football and academics, but they've always wanted that nemesis for Kentucky in men's basketball.
Ooh.
Arkansas was supposed to supply that. They really haven't. They might now with Calipari there, because that just, as I mentioned about basketball here, that just reignited the Arkansas-Kentucky basketball rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
But they've always wanted that nemesis for Kentucky in men's basketball. North Carolina fills that bill. And I remember Carolina joined with Clemson and Florida State. I forget what they voted against, but NC State dropped out, which would have helped their cause. North Carolina holds all the money here as far as whether the ACC survives, because if Greg Sankey is hell bent on getting them into the SEC.
Oh yeah, I'm totally looking forward to the ESPN division and the FOX division, and then everybody else. It's going to be what, 8? How many teams you figure by the time everything wants to recycle, Wilkie, that we'll see how many teams in the SEC and how many in the Big 12-10 and the Big 10-12, 14, 16. How many franchises, and that's what they are, since it's his business we're talking about here. How many max franchises in each of these leagues do you see?
Honestly, I see 20 and 20.
Okay. 2 divisions of 10.
At least it would be manageable.
Yeah. 2 divisions of 10, 9 conference games, championship game. You have like 1 crossover or something like that?
Probably, yes. But I'm of the thought of this whole regionalization thing that was being proposed is going to happen. And it's going to happen probably within the next 10 years, because that's where we're headed. And there'll be some kind of accommodation for the SEC and the Big Ten. whatever they come up with.
Member schools get grandfathered into these
Right.
situations.
Right. There's going to be some accommodation, but we have gotten to the point where the conferences really don't matter.
No.
Now that the Pac,
It's gonna be more of a delegation because they're gonna tell them what they want and what's acceptable to them because they
Exactly.
hold all the cards.
Yeah.
Look, you've lost the Pac-12. You've really lost the West Coast influence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I think Congress is going to start getting involved, because you're going to see all these universities in the Southeast, in the Midwest, really gaining a lot of income. And the schools like Utah and Colorado and Arizona State, who joined the Big 12, and Oregon and Washington, SC and UCLA joining the Big 10. They're going to get some. They're going to get some financial windfall out of that, but they're not going to have any influence because it's a numbers game. And I really think probably within the next few years, Congress is going to get involved, and that's just going to get all sorts of scenarios spinning. And we're going to watch congressional hearings.
Nothing will make it run smoothly like the government will.
Exactly. And that's what I think they need to avoid.
Their idea of legislating is or passing laws having to do with your appliances.
We're mad at you.
Yeah, exactly. And you're going to have these politicians who know nothing about college athletics, and we're seeing a lot of that right now.
Yeah.
That's just consistent for them. They don't know what they're talking about half the time anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's a bipartisan comment.
Yeah.
So
that applies to all.
Yes.
So something has to happen to accommodate the West Coast schools, to get at least get them a seat at the table and have some kind of influence. And to me, that's the undercurrent of college football and college athletics really right now, with all the repositioning, is you've got the eastern part of the United States, but Southeast and Midwest are going to have all sorts of influence.
Mm-hmm.
The West is just kind of there. And although schools have made the right moves, you got an Oregon State and Washington State that is just kind of drifting aimlessly and doesn't know where they're going to land. And I think that
in the newly formed Pac West,
2,
when they finally merged together.
Yeah.
Pac West, yeah, that's right.
Tupac.
So, especially college football, I mean, that to me, that is the undercurrent of why they're proposing this regionalization. Again, accommodations have to be made to the Big Ten and the SEC, and I'm sure it's going to happen. But I just don't want Congress involved, because then all bets are off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love for
you think it's stupid now. Wait till they touch it.
Yeah, I would love for you to be right. I just don't see a world where the SEC or the Big Ten ever cede any of the ground or money or finances to anybody else.
No. The common sense approach is you break them up by time zone, which makes the TV networks happy.
Mm-hmm.
But common sense has nothing to do with any of these discussions.
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, think about UCLA. I mean, nobody cares that they're going into the Big Ten, and then nobody's going to care about watching Maryland come into the Rose Bowl to play the Bruins. And
the only people that care are going to be the teams that visit, because that'll be a nice road trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At 9:30 in the morning on Insert Network here, local time.
That's right. It's going to be
when Ohio State plays UCLA.
It'll be packed.
Oh my God! Yeah,
75,000 in scarlet and gray.
I'm gonna call my boss right after the podcast. Let him know what days I'm taking off. I got to look at the schedule real quick, and
Sorry,
the schools that are making $200 million a year in revenue just in football, they don't care what happens to anybody else. Not their problem.
I got my money.
Yeah, UCLA is never going to want to play in Columbus because they won't fill their stadium. They're only going to fill it for Michigan and Ohio State.
Well, they're going to have to now.
They can't even fill it when they play USC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And at least that rivalry is going to stay and become a Big Ten rivalry, which is going to be just really.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch the classic games on Big Ten Network between those two.
Now on the Big Ten Network, UCLA versus Northwestern.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a quote from Norm Stewart when he became an SEC coach and legend. He goes, "Wow, finally I get to be a legend in a conference I never coached in."
Correct. It's absolutely correct.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really get interested in Oregon or Washington coming down to the Rose Bowl. So
No.
I mean, but my point is, UCLA's in a world of hurt right now because that athletic program is in debt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they made the move to get out of debt, but that's just going to be a vicious cycle because now you're going to be traveling to the East Coast all the time, not just football, but your men's basketball, your women's basketball, your soccer, all those other sports, unless they can find another league to join and join those leagues that cuts down the travel costs. I don't see how this helps them.
How'd that work for Maryland?
What was UCLA's smartest football move this year? Letting Chip Kelly get a buyout from Ohio State?
Yes.
Yeah. That was their smartest financial move.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely correct.
Which is another point about college football and coaching, which could be another show down the line.
Sure it will be.
Also, like I said, the reason why all the hypothetical stuff we've talked about probably isn't going to happen.
Except that that group of 5 meeting where they're trying to do their own playoff. That needs to happen.
Yeah. And we've been talking about that for 6-7 years.
Make the Pop-Tarts Bowl the national championship game for that. I'm in.
Be amazing.
That might be the road trip next year is the Pop-Tarts Bowl.
See if you can get your mascot photo.
I mean, right now my photo with Brutus is like up here on my collection, but that would take it there.
And then the Pop-Tart.
How about a title sponsorship for us?
Yeah, see? Brought to you by Pop-Tarts.
Well, we're all in the South. Maybe we'll get moon pies.
Oh, wow.
Rusty Cola.
Oh, see, but that would have to be the pairing. It would have to be an RSC Cola and a moon pie.
Oof.
Out question.
Since I'm in Texas, I'll work on Dr. Pepper.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Hard to find. RC Cola is.
Yeah.
But it does exist in a few places up in, I think, in the Chattanooga area.
Yeah. Oof. Yes, it does.
Oh, it's all over the Carolinas.
Yeah, that and Cheerwine.
The
Cheerwine, yes.
In my hometown of Youngstown, the RC bottling plant was making RC and putting Coca-Cola wrappers on it for an extended period of time.
Oh,
interesting.
Yep.
And
shortly after that lawsuit, they became an independent bottler.
I'm shocked.
I wonder why.
Phil, do you want to send us home before we completely go off the rails?
Yeah, I think it's time to say goodbye.
We're just getting started.
I know, really.
We were warming up.
Oh, apparently Phil too.
Oh, get one of the dogs to give Phil the Heimlich maneuver.
Yeah, there you go. Get the
time to wrap things up here on the roof. If you've made it this far, well, congratulations. You are devoted, and we appreciate it.
You're a +1, and we love you for
it. For Brother Marty, for Brother Wilkie, and Brother John, I am Brother Phil. We are the Online Sports Guys. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great rest of April and into May. Hopefully, we'll join you again here sometime in May.
There you go.
Bye-bye.
Please like and subscribe and visit onlinesportsguys.com.